Sound issue is solved. I was playing Vega. Okay, cool. So we won't be discussing every character into the finest of details, but we will quickly draft a specific style for our character. So let's start off with Vol'jin. What kind of role does Vol'jin play within your opinion?
I think it would be cool to give Vol'jin a light mode and a dark mode.
If I say role, kind of is it an assassin or a specialist or just?
I would. That's pretty. I think I would with the way I have him in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you could also do it entirely differently.
Yeah, no.
But the draft I had in my head was actually says support.
So you would imagine him as a support character. I imagine him as either a assassin or, if you want to focus slightly less on damage, as a specialist, because he won't just focus on just supporting his team alone. He would, he would be capable of being on his own.
He would I think probably I would go with specialist. So because I just it sounds better to me.
So your idea was, explain,
to give him a light and dark mode. So now what it means is that, for instance, he has in a light mode he has a heal and a buff, but in dark mode that is for his enemies, then it's a damage over time and a debuff, for instance.
Yeah. So here's a Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunters walk the line between the dark side and the light. So he kind of toys with both of these sides. And so it would make sense that he was capable of both healing his teammates and, playing with his light side, but also playing with his darker voodoo side that drags the enemies down.
Actually would be I don't know if this is any good idea, but he has his Loa. Yeah. His patron Loa is Loa of the Dead.
Yeah, so a Shadow Hunter has patron Loas, and Loas are these spirits that either after death became immortal, or were some sort of primordial attached to the land, but they aren't gods. They are of these kind of one tier lower than gods. Yeah, but they're still supernatural beings. And his particular patron Loa is Kwanzabi, of how do you pronounce that? Bwanzabi. Bwanzabi is the Loa of the dead.
Yeah, man. So, what is maybe this is a very broad concept because you still need to put this also in the light side. Yeah, you died.
Fuck you. Were you playing?
Yes, I was playing.
Okay. Continue.
A resurrection for your teammates? Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he can collect souls. And he has the capability of performing certain abilities with souls that will temporarily empower him or something.
Yeah, but you also need to think, I actually like the souls idea, that you could, what would you do with the souls of your light? You could probably let go of your souls, and every soul would do so much damage to an enemy.
Good.
That if you have your
you have this particular skill shot, and if you have a stack of X amount of souls, it deals bonus damage.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay. But the concept is simple: a guy who walks the line between life and death and can save others and can definitely kill others.
I died.
So that's
that he can basically he needs to be able to hold his own.
Would be cool if he was capable of holding his own, yes.
Yeah, but also if he, if you really wanted, you could also build him as a bigger kind of support character.
Yeah, yes. So basically, he has the flexibility of either being full support or more of an assassin, or kind of both, kind of flexible, kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I was thinking about weapons. What if at the start you could choose a specific weapon? For example, you could go for a bow that increases his range.
I'd probably do that.
Allow him to stay back. Or a glaive weapon that bounces between enemies. Allow him to stay more on the front, but more DPS, and also being more capable of defeating creep.
Yeah, I think I think it would not per se. I don't know what Vol'jin's original weapon is.
Well, Vol'jin in Warcraft 3 appeared as a witch doctor because I was using that particular model. But in World of Warcraft he had a class of Rokan, which would mean that his abilities and capabilities were similar to Rokan.
Now I of course get that you want to give him that kind of flexibility.
Yes.
But I actually think that it would be better off with Rokan.
So you want, let's then move on to Rokan. You want to make Rokan's weapons more flexible. Rokan's abilities in Warcraft 3 were a healing wave, which are currently possessed by
Rhaegar.
He had the ability to place down snake wards, which
I would still give him that one.
Well, I was wondering, you could give him that one. It would be a cool ability to area denial and to clear creep waves, but it would also be an effective ability for a witch doctor character.
Yeah, my original plan was actually to give that to Zenjin.
To Zenjin, indeed. So another ability Rokan had was
Rokan could potentially use something like a voodoo ward.
Voodoo Walker, but his other ability was Hex, which is essentially a voodoo polymorph. So Rokan's abilities need to be designed from scratch. It could be based on trinkets he's carrying, you know, like mojo abilities.
Actually,
I think you need to design Rokan with a little bit of a more
unstable mojo. Throw something and does a random effect. that would actually be funny to me. Like suddenly your enemy, like, I don't know, gains the dragon breath ability, for instance.
No, that won't happen. This game will be broken if random effects entered. We were playing against a more difficult AI, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of... Are we playing against AI?
Yeah.
You know, let's assume we're playing against a difficult AI. So... Okay, but Rokan's other ability was Big Bad Voodoo, which made his friend... It was an ult from Warcraft 3, which made his friends immortal, but him vulnerable. Which is kind of does Dingo the other way around.
Yeah, because Dingo goes the other way around.
But I think that ability would be majorly broken. If you enter the team fight and all your teammates could take no damage except for you. So I do think Rokan would be either an assassin or a specialist. But again, Blizzard never really designed the Shadowhunter abilities in greater detail, so we have very little source material to go on.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that they walk the line between between light and darkness.
Which is on itself a great concept to start.
Yeah.
But still...
So let's leave Rokan and Vol'jin right there in the middle for a moment, because I actually feel slightly stronger with Zenjin, the father of Vol'jin. Zenjin is a witch doctor, which is more of a support character.
Full support character.
Full support character. So he has the capability of healing, that's for sure. But I was actually thinking, because his main ability which doctors did within Warcraft 3 were wards, which is a thing other MOBAs use often. And you could, perhaps that would be his trait, not an ability but his trait, just to place down a ward, perhaps three of them, and the oldest dies when you place down a new one, if they have a certain duration, and they were capable of spotting enemies, and perhaps you could upgrade them to spot invisible enemies, and perhaps even, you know, make them even more powerful, that perhaps have an area of effect, and perhaps you could design this character in such a way that he becomes kind of area denial character, so that if you have, for example, need to capture this point, he could place down a static trap that will explode over time, or when somebody casts an ability, the static trap absorbs a percentage of that ability and then explodes, dealing that amount of damage. You could place perhaps a shield that denies enemies entrance, or throw down a potion that spreads poison, and poisonous fumes that will deal area damage.
Like I said earlier, I would like to give him the Snake Ward. Actually.
The Snake Ward would be fitting for the Witch Doctor character.
Yes. It just I really think that would be What?
Your girlfriend uses her ult to get away rather than to deal damage.
That's not a girlfriend anymore. This is,
Oh, it's the bot?
Yes.
Oh, because I saw her do that before. Okay, but
anyway, maybe we, Snake Ward is an ability. Yeah, I think so.
Snake Ward would be ability.
Yeah.
Healing Ward would be the obvious, because Healing Ward is kind of this global talent, multiple heroes could pick. But he would definitely have that, you know. He perhaps would even could have a version that was empowered. Empowered Healing Ward.
I do like the idea of his trait being wards,
yep.
and that you just could upgrade them to like see invisible enemies.
Yeah.
And even like
perhaps you could upgrade him to Snake Wards, and his abilities with throwing around potions.
Yeah, that could be.
You can upgrade him to Healing Wards or Snake Wards.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do all kinds of things with this character. He's he had a lot of flexibility. He's very clear on what he should be.
Yeah.
Let's move on to slightly lesser known characters. Zelazane. Now Zelazane, in the lore, he was the blood brother of Vol'jin.
I have a perfect idea for an ability for him.
What's that?
Make a wall which only dead things can pass through.
We will explain this particular one in a moment. So basically what happened was he became obsessed with power. And he became a necromancer. So I think he would be a specialist, probably. A specialist or an assassin. What happened was actually pretty funny. He was in at some point he managed to take control of the Echoing Isles, which were the islands that the Darkspear tribe used as a home when they joined the Horde. But he chased all the other trolls off and he took them for himself. And controlled the island with a army of zombified undead trolls. I'm wondering what she's doing as well. And you had to go on a quest to how you call that? Like invade, but stealthily invade. How you call that? Infiltrate the island. And after you have infiltrated the island, kill him, assassinate him, and bring back his head.
You had to infiltrate?
You had to infiltrate.
I murdered everybody on sight.
That's the MOBA's version of infiltrate. Because, oh no, it wasn't her. So what I said earlier about your girlfriend is a lie, apparently. It was the bot fucking up.
Like I said, you didn't pay any attention. Anyway, normal infiltration. Alright, I will not stab him, else the enemy will know my location. Game infiltration.
Okay.
Fuck, I'm dead.
Yeah, so there's another word. Look at that, a totem. Lol.
Yeah, that's a totem.
Yes, that's a lot of enemies. Yeah, but every time you killed him, he tricked you and gave you a fake head. Somehow, his dark magics didn't kill him. You took back a fake head. It's kind of interesting.
That actually, no wait,
that would be a cool first ability. Or perhaps an ult? I don't think an ult. But an ability, if you activate it, if you die within an X amount of time, you become invisible and your body drops, but you're not really dead. You can run away.
But you do have like only 15 health or something.
That probably would be an extra ability rather than a... yeah, I mean, you die, so you perhaps only have a X amount of health. But yeah, he's basically a kind of necromancer, voodoo style character, and he's evil and ambitious and vicious and malicious. What else rhymes? Oh yeah.
Right.
But when he took control of the island, some trolls were trapped on the island, and one of them was Zentabra. Zentabra. And Zentabra came in contact with the Raptor Loa. The Raptor Loa was an ancient nature
clever girl.
Was a clever girl indeed. So clever that he taught Zentabra how to become a druid, how to do druidism. And that's how, after the cataclysm, in which an event took place, in which Vol'jin took back the island, in which the event will explain shortly, we freed Zentabra, and she teaches us how to be a druid as a troll. So that's how trolls got druids. But what Vol'jin did, he went on the island, and he couldn't just take out Zelazane because they were kind of like equal, right? And Zelazane had made this shield, which only dead things can pass through. Basically, no living thing can pass through this particular shield of his. In which I must ask, why couldn't you just shoot an arrow?
I think that would have been too easy.
Yeah, I think it was. But what Vol'jin ended up doing was asking his Loa, Bwonzabi. He asked Bwonzabi to help him take care of Zelazane. But first he had to prove himself in a few quests. And after which Bwonzabi appeared in the boss fight when Zelazane activated the shield at the end of the boss fight. Bwonzabi passed through the boss fight, touched Zelazane, and Zelazane exploded.
You went through the boss fight.
Like, ah! No, you
hey,
at the end. At the end of the boss fight, he will activate his shield and he will start back. Haha! Nothing can touch me. And then Bwonzabi be like, ah man, you fool, and just kills him. That's not the actual dialogue, but that's kind of how it happened. So Zelazane, he's cool, but not untouchable. Not by the Reaper of the trolls. So yeah, his abilities would involve zombies and death.
Don't we have a lot of those already?
Not enough. You never have enough zombies and death. We don't have voodoo. Actually, we do have voodoo zombies, do we?
Yes, we are. We already have 2 people that can raise the dead.
But we don't have a troll that raises the dead. So there. Let's move on to the next character, or else this video will take too long. Hex Lord Malakras would be a fascinating character. So, like I mentioned, within the patch, the raid, whatever you however you like to refer to it, Gods of Zulaman. What happened was Hex Lord Malakras figured out how to trap. What?
I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I will return.
This will be a good time to mention our sponsors. We have no sponsors. Please give us money. End of the message. Okay, break is over. Hex Lord Malakras. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Play the type. So, like I was mentioning, he was the mastermind who infused his warriors with Loa, ancient primal Loa spirit. So basically you had these trolls who were half an animal, half troll. And these Loa didn't do this, these Loa had to do so against their will, so they were enslaved. You had a bear, a lynx, a hawk, and a dragon hawk. Now, originally he himself didn't use, any Loa, but I think actually for his character in Heroes of the Storm, that at the start of the match you could choose between 5 different Loa. Now the 5th, I say, could be a snake or a spider. Actually, you know what? Make that a snake. So at the start of the match you would choose a Loa, a bear to become a tank, a cat to become a melee DPS, a hawk to gain much mobility, still become a melee DPS, but you will gain more mobility, and a cat will gain more, I don't know, damage, I don't know. But there will be difference in mobility, and a dragon hawk will be a ranged DPS who uses like fire breath and such to attack his enemies. And a snake will probably be more of a specialist who uses ranged attacks to create these venom clouds and do damage over time and really rain down his enemies. But isn't a 100 to 0 kind of assassin. 100 to 0 reverse to someone's hit points. Do you know this expression? This expression?
No.
No, you know. 100 to 0 is from full health to like non-health.
Okay.
So, and then you build him, you know, from there. You build this character. So his abilities could be abilities that will apply to all the Loa, or it could be abilities that he has these particular abilities who are replaced. And he'll probably be capable of, perhaps you choose his ult at the beginning. It's one of these Loa, and that is when he actually reaches this level that you can empower this or something, or you just choose his trait to temporarily transform into one of these Loa empowered creatures, and perhaps your Q ability changes. But anyway, the idea is simple. You are this flexible multi-class character who switches between this gothic looking troll into these animal infused, you know, primal being. That sounds really cool. Any thoughts?
It's okay.
It's okay. You have any better suggestions?
No, I don't really care about Hexlord Malakras.
Ah, that's okay. Let's find the next most interesting character on the list. Hexlord Malakras. Oh yeah, Centabra. So without going off the path into druids, but you and I really want to address that we like druids to be more of a shape-shifting class rather than.
Yeah. Now, I need to be. I will be really quick on this. What's his name again?
Malfurion?
Malfurion Stormwind sucks. He's just
Storm Rage.
Storm Rage. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
Malfurion Storm Rage sucks.
What he does is good, but we want him to do something different.
Alright. If you tell me he's an archdruid, I do not expect a healer. I would take someone else and make them a healer. I would like him.
I mean, he's playing the most basic healer, basically. He's playing the vanilla healer. If you want a vanilla healer, use somebody like the leader from the Draenei. What was his name?
Velen, Prophet Velen.
Prophet Velen. He would make a lot better healer. He can stun using light. He can regenerate mana. He can regenerate hit points. The only thing he can't do is create roots that slow people. But you can probably do that with chains made of light or something else.
Yeah. Anyway.
And you can turn Malfurion into either somebody who, you know, someone who shapeshifts.
Yeah.
So
now, my other thought on that is, I want to be quick on this. Hamul Runtorm. Now we'll feature him in another video, but then I have Centabra and Hamul have, I think, the same basic concept.
Or shapeshifting dudes, indeed. But I want to point out that if it comes to Heroes of the Storm, you do not have to follow the bear, cat, bird form protocol you have to do in the MMO. For, you know, now you can actually experiment with the characters and how they feel. So what if Centabra
becomes a raptor?
A raptor, and her ult could be a fucking devil saw.
That would be amazing.
It would be a very interesting experience to just turn into King Crush.
Rex would be like,
clever girl. So Centabra would be an amazing character to transform into these like one more troll related animals. It would be a cool and that would be a female troll because there aren't too many of those. And I would like to see her more in World of Warcraft as well.
Yeah.
So basically, a shape-shifting between a humanoid form and a bestial form to, you know, support and actually fight. Let's see. Those are. Oh yeah, the only like large character, Zul the Prophet. Now, Zul the Prophet has manipulated important events in World of Warcraft from behind the scenes, but hasn't himself done anything. So I think you need to give him abilities who are based on the people he has manipulated.
The support that empowers other people, maybe?
No. Actually, I think.
Avatar much?
No. Actually, I think. What if you gave him. What if you portray him like his. Like he actually was in cohorts with Aloha? He's a prophet, but let's say that he has similar abilities to. Like similar connection to the Loa as a Shadowhunter. That he is in cohorts with Hakar the Soul Flayer. and that his abilities are based on sacrifice and blood.
Yeah, yeah, I think that is cool, but the video, the background video, is coming to an end.
No, don't worry. We will make sure that's all fixed. Okay, and we're back. Who am I playing? I am.
You are. No, you.
I am on the other team.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
You're fighting people?
You're Malfurion of all people. So, when you speak of the devil, you stab on his tail. So we were speaking about devils. We were speaking about Zul and about him using evil powers.
I think he should, like, if he kills minions, that he could, like, maybe sacrifice them and gain blood orbs.
Something like that. Obtain blood. Just pick him up.
It'd actually be awesome if he like could empower a hero with it, or like heal himself and that kind of stuff.
That could be cool. But he could potentially just grab a different patron Loa, and therefore his abilities and how they work, or a certain mechanic behind them changes. But like I said, he hasn't. He only appeared in the game as a lore character, not yet, as a real NPC. He was the spokesman in the trailer against Vol'jin, in which he tried to persuade Vol'jin to join his Zandala tribe. By the way, we haven't mentioned this, but there are only a few different kinds of trolls. You have the forest trolls, the jungle trolls, the frost trolls, and after which you have the sand trolls. But then you have the dark trolls, which aren't currently, there's no tribe in the game that's currently known. But I imagine them as...
There was one in Warcraft 3.
There was one in Warcraft... Actually, though, you could gain them as mercenaries in Warcraft 3. But a tribe of dark trolls evolved into the dark elves. And when I say...
Dark elves? You mean night elves?
Night elves. And when I say evolved into night elves, I mean... by God-given powers was transformed into a different being.
By touching the Titan blood, they change into sexy.
They gain sex appeal.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened to a tribe called Fly, Diablo, fly! He heard sex appeal and he thought, I'm off! Whee! My people need me. So, but the other one were the Zandala trolls. They aren't mentioned, but they're kind of pinkish. Kind of magenta-esque. Light. Little light. Yeah, pink. That's light magenta is pink. So they're kind of pinkish. And perhaps you need to view them as coastal trolls. So the Zandala tribe. So he's part of that particular tribe.
You know what Zenjin's weaknesses, by the way?
What?
Flippers.
Flippers?
Yes. He got killed by Murlocs. Sacrificed by Murlocs, I must say. Zenjin.
Yeah, okay, no, I was thinking about Zul'jin.
No!
No, Zenjin, Vol'jin, Zul'jin, I'm going to confuse these trolls many times over.
That's okay, because you suck.
Oh, kiss me button. But like I said, the other, because using the powers of Hakar the Soul Flayer are of course based on Jindo, the Goldbreaker. But if you want him to use different kind of powers, you could base his powers on... Allow me to find this bloke on my notes. Garjal, the Spirit Binder. And you could have an ult, for example, or not an ult, but a regular ability, depending on how powerful you really want it to be, or how powerful you consider this to be. It could be a spammable ult, like an ult you can use a lot, in which you can banish either your teammates, yourself, or an enemy to the spirit world, in which the other players become invisible. You're on the map and the map becomes all shadowy, kind of like misty, and you can run around on the map. And after the timer runs out, you drop back into the world of the living, but on that particular place. But you don't know where everybody is. That's the trick. So if you're doing it on yourself,
suddenly you're standing next to the core.
You could do that.
Shit.
That would do damage. You could potentially do that to run away from enemies and just run back to base.
But if you could do that to your entire team, you could just rush core.
Well, not rush core because you can't attack in that phase, obviously. You could have, perhaps you could make an ult in which you can, your entire team just teleports to the Shadowland for like a second or 2 seconds or so.
No, death blows!
Actually, that would be a funny gank. When you're waiting in lane, the enemy comes, you press the ult, you run down, you spawn out of the shadow world, and the guy like holy fuck, where did all the entire team come from? From the other side, man. And then you fucking nuke him. Like I said. An interesting character.
If you say so.
But a clean slate, basically. A menacing clean slate. I can actually discuss how he could have his own expansion, but I'm not going to do that. Let's move over to... Let's just briefly speak about the last, more smaller characters. We had Salazar and Hexlord, yes. So we move on to Frost Lord Malak.
Now I would... we already have a Frost Mage, but I would still like him to do a lot with Frost. I would like him to...
I like him, first of all, his role, I think he should be a warrior, a tank.
Yeah, but I want him to do something with icy armor.
Frozen armor, so gain more armor that slows the enemy when you hit it. But I just was thinking about a warrior that within his vicinity just slows his enemies down. So when you he runs up to the enemies and he slows them, so he kind of glues them to him, so they have to engage with him. Yeah. He therefore can protect his more squishier teammates. So basically, you compare him up with quick to escape assassins. He can jump the enemy team, he can initiate. He can slow them. Then the other guys come, they nuke one down and then they run away. And the enemy team is still slowed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to upset some people when we speak about Khazrajin. Now, Khazrajin in the game was portrayed as some sort of Hulk character who just cannonballed your player. Just jumped up, hit the floor.
What do you mean upset some people?
Well, I'm going to upset some. Just brief. That part's still coming. You interrupted me before I was there.
Okay.
So what I envision this character to do, because he just uses his hands and brute force, is to be this dire troll character. This just huge hulking piece of meat. He will be a tank too. And his speciality would be moving the enemy's position, pushing them back, pulling them. But the thing is, that's already what Diablo does. And I don't like Diablo. His two abilities, they have this charge and this grab, which really feels like it should be one ability, charge, grab, because you use it in such quick succession often.
I do get why they have
I mean, some kinds you get off. I mean, if you don't want to use them in succession, you get behind the enemy and then charge them into your towers. But if you just run through a gate, see an enemy charge, grab, he's already in your towers.
Yeah, I do get. I do also have a problem with Diablo's powers.
I rather want Diablo to spit fire, ashes, brimstone, lightning, spawn shadow fiends. Do something with the element of terror rather than just I'm big, strong, and mean. Roar.
So, yeah, I do get that.
I mean, I posted a forum post in which I said Diablo wasn't iconic, and somebody got real angry, like, here's exactly the Lord of Terror we need. So, like I said, some people will disagree with me, but I don't like Diablo. I want him to be menacing, and with fire and brimstone, not with just brute strength. There are enough characters.
It would actually be fun if Diablo could light himself on fire.
Example, just create AoE that he breathes terror. Everything around him dies. Everything around him goes to waste. His presence alone is killing. But okay. So like I said, I would like this character to take over a few of those abilities. But I don't think that will ever happen. But it's just ideas. It's fun to discuss.
I know.
The next one will be Soul the Sandcrawler. Now Soul.
I have a
Soul the Sand. That's S. So we would pronounce it Soul, but Soul.
Whatever. The Sandcrawler. I have a funny idea for the Sandcrawler.
Yeah. So first of all, he's a sand troll, so he's kind of beige colored.
Yeah, and he's one of the. I think I already said that he's one of the only two characters with facial hair.
Yeah,
but that doesn't really matter at the moment.
So what his passive ability would be beard.
Yeah, and which
enemies stand in awe of you as a troll having a beard. So that's passive.
It will slow them, and you will instantly win the game. No, joking. Stop distracting me. I already have a problem with distractions, and you're just making it worse.
Okay, let's continue.
I think Zul is a probably a ranged assassin. Maybe you could make him choose his weapons or something funny. I don't know, but I would like him to give him an ability to move pretty quickly in and out of combat. That like the basic ability is just go from this place to this place.
Yeah, you
and he just vanishes in sand. He's like, "No, you see me," and he just vanishes. And then he.
So you want to give him a teleport ability,
I want to give him a kind of teleport ability.
Like a character that isn't invisible but could turn invisible at some time.
Also, maybe he could like do a sand, like a bolt of sand, or like a fan of sand, like Like
and perhaps he could silence his enemies as well.
Yeah, but then he could like blind people too with something. And I would there's at least one ult that I do really like. That is a gigantic sandstorm in which all your entire team and minions and everything just disappear. The enemy cannot see them, not even on the map.
It would be cool if you would create this area of effect in which if your teammates stood in it, they were invisible to the enemy, and if the enemy stood in it, they were visible but only in close range, you know, like in close proximity. They become more visible if they come close. A very large area or a short area just to stand in. It could be useful when you are trying to...
That you could not see their health and that
For
example,
kind of stuff
too.
When you... It could be a... no, it doesn't necessarily need that. You could make it a more spammable ability because it doesn't really do any damage or something. And what you would do is when you are doing mercs, you would drop it down so the enemy can see how many are doing mercs. So, you know, the enemy has to get in, and if he gets in, could also be that your entire team is there, so you nuke him. Or you could drop it down on a bunch of mercs and then do another set of mercs, and then within a sandstorm you will gain sight of, you know, Zul himself, therefore you know the team. And when enemies enter Zul's sandstorm, you know that they're there while you're busy on a different merc camp. It's just an example.
Yeah, it could also probably maybe slow.
You could perhaps create a different ability which throws down sand on the ground. It slows the enemy, but you gain movement speed.
Ooh, quicksand.
Quicksand will be a cool
actually,
ability.
that's an actual good ability.
Yeah, quicksand
like
is a good ability.
Then suddenly, like if you walk through it, you're slowed. Your movement speed is slowed.
And since he appears in the Mr. Pandaria story arc of the Trolls, they were actually helping the Mogu create a terracotta army of terracotta, stone and jade, and creating more Mogus out of lifeless material. He could perhaps have this ability in which he just summons extra minions made out of terracotta.
That is actually a good ult.
Yeah, just summon a bunch of like trees for here example, but you know, terracotta trolls or Mogu or whatever.
Fun. Look at my collection.
So like I said, Zul the Sandcrawler is a really interesting character because he just looks really cool.
He looks really cool because of sand. You can do a lot with him. I mean,
you don't have that particular style in Heroes of the Storm yet.
Yeah, you don't. Of course, you have Chromie, but Chromie is time.
Yeah,
and that is
a different kind of sand, totally different. I mean, how do we even bring that up? It's uncomparable. Perhaps his passive is just to create a sand cloud, and if you stand in it, you are hidden, just like grass.
That's actually funny.
You see all kinds of things like this. And he would be a specialist or an assassin, one of the two. Just kind of a woohoo surprise.
Yeah. Next one.
High Priestess Marley.
Alright, here's the magic word. Spiders. Okay?
Her story is she is the chosen warrior for the Spider Loa.
I actually think that like her ult could be that like she becomes one with the spider. With the spider Loa.
her first encounter, when she hit a health threshold, she would turn into a Nerubian character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a person we're missing.
A Nerubian.
Yes, an actual Nerubian. Not the carnivorous beetle king. That is an Uber rock.
Yeah, but okay, but
Just died there. Have fun being dead. I'm joking.
He's always dead, so he's always having fun or not. You know what? Let's not digress in this particular discussion. So yeah, she has spider power, so she can throw down spider webs that slow the enemy. She could be a specialist or an assassin. Almost everybody can be an assassin, unless they're big and tough.
Yeah.
But perhaps a specialist that is capable of momentarily trapping enemies, momentarily freezing towers, that sort of thing.
Not like Sylvanas.
Not like Sylvanas at all, no.
Don't you think, by the way, Sylvanas is a bit OP?
A bit, yes. But then yet again, if a good assassin catches her, she's totally toast.
That's true. She's pretty squishy.
Yeah, I think those were... I mean, yeah, we have Jindo, but I actually like Jindo, Prophet, Karazul, and Guardian, the Spirit Binder, more as a reference to design Zul, the Prophet.
Okay.
So, let me just... one more quick look whether or not I forgot anybody. No, actually, I think that's all of them. So, those were our trolls.
Thank you very much for watching this HOTS topic.
And we see you next time in the Nexus Mine.
Yeah, man.
And stay away from the
voodoo.
voodoo.